see the blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
Welcome to everyone tuning in to the Our Network podcast. I'm in Fort Lauderdale doing my third podcast of the day, one in Kendall and now two in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm pretty excited about today's podcast because it shows how there's like a ripple effect. I met an artist in Wynwood, Diana. I just did a podcast with her. She actually introduced me to you last week, and we didn't even plan this podcast. Someone else from yesterday booked this for us, which is cool. And I got here and I was like, oh, the three of you are here, and is this the Art Mafia? But that's actually a vlog that we're gonna start called the Art Mafia. What was the name?
Yeah, but it's really cool.
What is it?
Art Squad.
The Art Squad. So if each of you just real quick wanted to introduce your name, who you are, your Instagram, and then we'll have each of you introduce yourself, and then maybe you can just let us know how you met, what the Art Squad is, how you guys are collaborating. That'd be pretty cool. You want to start off who you are?
Sure. My name is Steph Leiden. I'm the owner of Art Attack, the gallery that we're sitting in right now. And I don't know my Instagram offhand, honestly, but
We'll put it in the description.
Okay, perfect.
I was just thinking
So
about
Art
what the hell
Attack
mine
is
was.
your gallery. It's also your studio. You
Yeah,
also do the
it's a
woodwork.
working studio, so I clean everything up before a show or most likely an art walk, and I have everything on display, everything's for sale, but in the meantime I'm always working and painting in here, so it is definitely a working studio.
Every day after 5 she's here.
Yeah, I have a regular job, so I don't get here until after 5.
Wow, you have a regular job and you organize and do all of this?
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, I actually work just down the street over at Mac Fine Art, and I'm like their in-house artist there, so I just do whatever they need me to.
Oh, wonderful.
Over there, and once 5 o'clock hits, I leave there, I come here, I crack a beer, and I start painting for myself.
Yeah,
So
that's wonderful.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
And so, awesome. So, yeah, for anyone who wants to check her out, link in bio, it's in the description. And yourself?
Maureen Downs, Marine Originals artist. Don't know my Instagram either.
In the
It's
description?
probably Marine Originals artist. I do a lot of ocean art, surf art, and spiritual art.
Okay.
My dad was a Navy pilot, and we traveled all over, and we spent 4 years in Hawaii when I was younger. And
Which
that just
island?
sort of Oahu,
Okay.
and the beach of Oahu, which we are on the lagoon that Pearl Harbor is nestled in.
I'm
so.
from Seattle, so we would take vacations to Oahu and
Oh,
Waikiki
really?
Beach.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
I
wow.
actually grew up going there. I
That
think
is
I've gone
so
probably
cool.
5 times.
You gotta go.
Well,
Look
yeah.
who's talking. My brother lives in Birmingham.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so my parents moved to Alaska a few years ago, so you
Wonderful.
really can't get further apart
Yeah.
and
That's,
still be in the same landmass. But anyway, so the culture, the water, I'm just really drawn to the water.
being
and,
here now in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. The reason I'm not in Hawaii is it's really expensive, and my friends would never be able to visit me. So I sort of and this has been great. I mean, I live a mile from the beach, and yeah, it's better than being in Connecticut, where I came from.
Where you're from,
the last place I lived. So yeah, I do this full time. Every now and then I get a house painting job or an apartment painting job because I've been painting houses and apartments.
To paint the walls plain or with
Yeah,
art?
just like no.
Oh, like paint.
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
I've done murals and everything before, and I'm always up for that. But for 25 years I was a house painter and worked actually for a property management company here in town, and then just gave this a shot. figured, I don't want to be in a nursing home or 90 years old wondering, I wonder what would have happened if I had just tried.
Yeah.
So this is me working to.
And this way you'll be painting when you're that age, not knowing what you're doing instead of just watching some pointless TV show or something.
Exactly. So
That's cool.
no, it's been amazing.
Awesome. And your name?
I'm Desiree Kim, and my company is Rising Zen.
Rising Zen.
My Instagram is risingzen_DWAE.
She knew it.
That stands for Desire with Me, which is actually my main company and my artist company I started off with. Rising Zen is actually a combination of doing the art and energy work that I do. So I'm a celestial energy worker as the primary thing that I do, and working art as a secondary thing that is taking over a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just a lot of events, and I'm teaching now this summer at the Hobby Lobby, and I'm doing some stuff for Kama Sutra monthly.
And so I feel the excitement and energy in like each of your endeavors. It's cool. So how has the art squad formed? What is it? How are you guys working together?
Well, I think that is like the thing that brought us together, is because outside of being like-minded, we get along so well. We have a great time. We have fun together.
How did you first start hanging out? What was the scenario?
Coming here for
Art
art
walks.
walks and everything, and Desiree would be here all the time. She was here because it's her gallery art walks.
I have to be here.
And had vending here, and so we would sort of always be here.
Consistent interaction. You get
Consistently
along.
showing up. So if we're here once every 5 or 6 months, you're not gonna really. Yeah, I mean, outside of hi, how are you, good to see you, and everything. So it would be every month we see each other, and then we started. I think we went out.
We didn't
once.
really plan it. We just kept running into each other because we all liked the same stuff, and we were all doing the same stuff, and we all went to the same thing. So we just naturally just came together. I don't know. It's very, very, very natural.
Very organic.
I met you at one of these the art walk things that we were having. It was like another battle thing that we were doing, and
Art battle. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
And it was really inspiring for me because I was just deciding to leave my corporate job at that time, and she was Marnie was really talking to me about go for your dreams,
To
do what
focus
you
solely on what you were building.
And
Sounds like something
really,
to say.
and she just really laid it down for me. It's gonna get tough, but keep going with it, And I've been riding roller coaster for 2 years.
Oh, 2 years in?
Yeah.
Okay, so you at least know the ride, right?
Yeah.
You got the ride down.
Yeah, well,
I don't know about
just
if
when
I
you
got
think
it down.
you do.
Buckle up.
You better just buckle up just in case.
Be open. That's
And to take the risk.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
It's
I'm
the
live
same
in
thing.
action.
Right? So it was just that, and then we started talking about things that we were upset with, that we couldn't understand, that there's got to be a better way, and
And that's where you started working together and
Well, that's January. Let's just talk about January. January 1st.
Oh my
this
gosh, that
year.
was so fun.
That was the spark.
It was.
That was the
so
spark.
cool.
Yep.
So we all went out for brunch on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Yeah,
okay.
and we were hanging out with Art Squad mom, Barbara, her mom.
Another art squad?
It's my mom. She's Mama Art Squad.
Okay.
She's adopted us and vice versa, and hanging out and taking care of us, and she's just a fun lady. She's really fun.
So over mimosas, we're sitting talking about art, talking about the things we had coming up, and
New Year's resolutions.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
remember all
Our
that.
intentions.
yes,
Intentions.
and I think that's really when we started focusing on, hey, let's do some stuff together, like more intentionally
Mhm.
together, not just showing up in the same area, you know.
Okay.
And talking a little bit about, you know, trying to make a difference in the art world of not having artists, you know, having to do stuff for free all the time because people are always having that conversation with you.
And the
you know.
exposure
So
conversation.
you all were
Yeah.
experiencing that?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
People-
With what, galleries, restaurants, or anything?
Anything and
Yeah.
everything. So we go to propose something. Oh, well, we'll let you do this and for exposure. We're not going to pay you.
Mhm.
Or we're gonna
It's
even
okay.
take a cut.
We're gonna take 40% of whatever
Yeah.
it is. And
Or,
it's not. It's not right. Like, what are we doing here?
And
You
that's
know?
when we were talking about that stuff. You were like, that's why Art Attack is for artists. I want people to be able to show up here, not have any kind of commission taken out of them. They get to come for free. They get to do something
Absolutely.
for free, and we make it valuable.
So
for
anybody
them.
can come.
Yep, exactly.
You know, I
If
stand
you
by
don't even
that
have
to this
20
day.
bucks, you can still come out here and show your stuff.
Yep.
Where?
Right here.
Like little what?
So
little-
this front
I don't
area.
get it. So you let artists come and have like a
Well,
showing
specifically
kind of, or-
for Art Walk.
Okay.
Yeah, we started. January was just a general live paint, but starting in February, when I wasn't here, I was on a cruise. So Desiree took over the gallery, and we did the first official art battle. And the idea of the art battle is that the artists would come and not just sit here and paint for free, and then they expect me to take a cut for everything. Is they would come, they would paint, they would, based on tips, battle for the win. And the win was the front wall of the Art Attack galleries for the following month. So you would get that free and clear. So when you sold pieces at the following art walk, I don't take anything, not 1%. All the tips they get to retain. And then as well, anything that they sold on a little table, because I let everyone have a table as well
Yep.
out there while they were battling, they kept all that for free. So this was just a really big opportunity for artists that maybe couldn't get into the high-end gallery, or maybe they couldn't afford a vending fee, and they have an opportunity to still be seen and heard and show their artwork and be able to, you know, have their moment in the spotlight, you know, and that's something that we all very wholeheartedly, you know, believe in, because I mean, these are our local artists. They're not just local artists, they're our friends too, and these are people that we just want to see, you know, get out there and have exposure, you know, but at least there's something in it for everybody. You get to keep everything you make, and you're battling to have the showcase wall. I mean, I'm giving up the front wall of my gallery so somebody else can be like that rotating monthly featured spotlight artist
And
every
get
month.
seen.
Yeah.
Get seen by
Yeah,
by
yeah.
anyone.
And get paid, because too, another thing is the tips. People are watching a performance, and then having the tip jars out there and letting them understand that that's how they're getting to win. Each artist walks home with money that night.
How do you translate that message to the spectators? How do you guys do that?
Well, the first
There's
time
a
I
tip,
had
like-
I had a microphone out there, and I was actually out in the front. We were actually doing it for a fundraiser for Boys and Girls Club. And I was out in the front, and my husband was over here with the raffle tickets, and we were selling raffle tickets for everybody donated a piece to the major raffle, and one person wins it. And so as people were coming in, I'm telling them, and I'm like, all right, my husband's back there, he'll take care of your raffle tickets. And then as we were telling that story, we're letting them know that the tip jars are there for the artists, and then that's how they're going to win the wall. And then we upgraded it to now we've got
That
the
big poster.
giant poster over there that
Super
explains
cool.
everything. Yeah. And all the tip jars are the same.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah, so everybody can see like what's going on.
And
It's
how
all
do
branded,
artists, if anyone is listening locally, actually, yeah, I mean, doing the podcast now, a bunch of artists, how do artists submit for this?
We've already got that covered too.
Yeah, so
You know the link, right?
on my website is Rise
You don't
and
even
Zen.
know.
You go to Art Squad, and then right underneath that is Art Submission or Art Battle Submissions, and then you
Yeah.
just go through that, and it's about 20 questions and stuff like, you know, what's your Instagram and your Facebook and what's your website and about you. So
It's
we know
easy.
how to-
And a little bit about us too. Like
Yeah. Right.
what we're hoping to accomplish in a movement in a changing society's way of thinking about artists.
Yeah.
And so it's all on there. It's really easy. It's fun, and we've already got
19 artists.
19
Like-
artists
19
who
and counting.
participate in the art battle?
So
yeah.
that they- no,
Wow.
we-
It's
a lot
usually
more than that.
about
They
you know
submitted.
between 6 and 8 per month per art walk. But these are, 19 people who are interested, and we'll rotate them out.
Yeah, so we just set up the submission because we said it's new. So we just did the online submission, and we've got 19 that submitted for doing future ones. 7 of the 8 artists for next Saturday, I've never met.
Wow.
That is so
It's
cool.
So you're seeing exponential growth in it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's once a month, right, with the
Yeah.
art walk?
Every last Saturday.
Every last Saturday.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull up here the our time has value thing. I
Oh,
was
nice,
telling you
nice.
about.
Oh, great.
Here,
Of being undervalued.
I got it right here. So I'll put it here.
And right away I was like, oh, I like that he was getting involved with building a business around himself. What's the name of your blog?
What's that?
Banks Inc.
157. Hold on. Commercial should come up. 1 second. That's an early episode. That's a kid Carlos who helps me out.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, let me see. Where's the commercial? 238. Okay.
Commercial real quick. Are you tired of being undervalued for your creative work? You're paid in exposure, or a price that doesn't even compensate the time you spend on the work itself. The gig economy is booming. More and more of us creators, millions around the world now, we're opting for a freelance career. So I think now is the time to make it clear to the world that our time has value. I put together a campaign, and I'm inviting people like you to get involved, share your story, and create artwork, a design, a photo around the subject, and then share it using the hashtag our time has value.
Yeah.
I'll share this on my Instagram at James L. Lewis, and hopefully together we can make a change. So if you want to take this one step further, I've created 2 sticker designs, and I'm offering free global delivery on these so we can spread this message as far as
Just got an idea.
Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you get involved today.
Nice.
Make art squad stickers and just freaking plaster them.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
No, but that's exactly.
That's
it.
exactly
Yeah.
it, Jonathan.
Yeah.
This guy's in like the UK or
Yeah.
something.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're not
So-
the only one who
No,
thinks
no.
that.
You're not insane.
No, we're definitely not.
No, but to see somebody else doing this is wow.
Yeah.
That is
It's
just
really-
that's very cool.
because it needs to happen. It's such a stereotype that and I think what it is I think it's just not non-education. And so that's part of like when we talk to people, we're not like, oh no, we don't want to do that, because you're not. It's hey, this is you got to understand how much time it takes to do something, or what it costs us in materials and the time that we learn over the course of our lives to paint in this way and to be able to perform and talk to people, etc., and create an experience. And so once you have that once I've had that conversation with people, they come around, they understand, and you got to be open with your options, but at the same time, the thing you guys just did a couple of weeks ago, it was where we didn't get charged for the vending for it, because
Oh, the collective.
yeah, so it was really just a matter of educating and letting them understand, and people are very cooperative. It's just you gotta talk to them.
And they really got it. We were treated so well. Yeah, Jonathan, it was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. More than accommodating. Came out. Do you need anything? Can we help you with anything?
Here's your tickets for free food.
Free
You want
food.
free drinks, beer, wine,
Wine.
water,
Such a
juice,
different
everything.
experience.
So different. So different. But it was
Flip the other
because
way
I
around.
went in there and I was able to explain
it was
it.
flipped.
Mm-hmm.
It was flipped instead of being.
Then if you don't sell anything, you'll be like, I had a wonderful
Right,
time.
and it didn't
So
matter.
many people saw my art, and then you just had a good time.
And now I'm going to
Exactly.
recommend them to everybody I know. How wonderful
What is
that
that?
place is.
What are you talking about?
It's actually a really, really, really cool operation in downtown here called Collective Ventures, and it's a coffee shop when you walk in, but as you go farther back, it's exactly what it is, just little businesses that are like a collective together. And it was just the most
They do
incredible
collaborate
time.
together,
Yeah.
on their own as well, on their end. with just the different businesses that are in there. Very supportive, communal, and yeah, there's a coffee shop, and they said we're welcome to go and paint there anytime. Just show up and paint. Which is really cool.
So they're going to be the first ones I recommend to somebody when there's, an opportunity for an event or, anything like that, because of the way they treated us was so awesome that, like, obviously you're going to be first on the list for me to recommend.
It didn't take a great effort, Jonathan. It was not a great effort, but they put in that little bit of effort that made us feel valuable.
Special, yeah. And whenever either of you have any projects or like murals or any type of days where you're gonna collaborate or work on a big project and you want to have us come out, we can just shoot like live videos and shoot content of it.
Oh wow, awesome.
And it's best if you just kind of let me know, like, hey, this week, these days I'll be here and there, because with the podcast and like running around and driving around, I just kind of have to like, oh, okay, I'm in the neighborhood, stop by.
Right.
But yeah, we're just trying to shoot as many cool live videos and content and do the podcast with as many artists and people who help the creative world.
Oh, definitely.
That's fantastic.
And people listening who want to pursue their creative side, who still work their main job or don't find, like, people can take a lot from the podcast, believe it or not. Like, they can learn things and learn about collaborating and just tips. So it's pretty fun.
That's fabulous. I am so excited that I think it was Chloe got us in touch with you or sent the heads up, because you have to realize that you're a rarity. In what you're doing, and you're obviously, or what I see is you're obviously very passionate about this and excited about it, and that's not an everyday thing. It's a gift, not a given, when something that extraordinary happens. So I'm telling you right now that, and I'm really glad that you're doing this, and that you want to do it for all of us. It's hard when you have a gift or a talent or a passion, and boy, there's enough obstacles out there that you don't need anymore. And so when somebody like you, what you're doing is coming up and saying, hey, man, I want to do this, and it's really not a usual occurrence. So man, that's on you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you need anything from us, man, you make sure you give a holler out, because it's all about community and collaborations, and if there's something we can do to help you, you let us know too.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Because it's got to go both ways. Well, no, it doesn't have to, but it's kind of cool when it does.
And then in doing this, I feel like the relationships I'll build with artists will allow me to do multiple podcasts, like over the course of length, like 5 years, 10 years.
Wow.
That's my goal. And in doing that, if I stick to the 5 podcasts per week, and we're also doing a whole series in Spanish, so we're gonna have we're having
That's
English,
fantastic.
and then who knows other languages we can expand to in the future, and then
Many as you want.
and we'll get some intense like Google translators, so you can like hear like a Russian artist in your language.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
man.
That'll be no big deal in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that, that's cool, really cool, because imagine like 200 different artists that are basically documented over the course of 5-10 years.
Right.
And essentially as I'm doing the podcast too, I'm kind of getting different ideas that grow from the podcast. And the recent one is anyone can essentially like copy this like plan, like, oh, I'll go in and shoot podcasts with artists in their studios, but for you, this is it's like a war. It's like behind the scenes. Like, you have to get into the art community. You have to let them invite you into their studio. Artist time is very special. So you have to be able to like be a salesman in that sense, to sell the artist on what you're doing, so that they see the vision also. And so I don't think everyone is cut out for that. So that's why I feel like the whole platform we already have and then what we're doing, it's gonna grow pretty fast.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Plus, you've got really good energy, and that goes a long way. That goes a long way. You're treating us with respect, and right from the get-go, from when you first showed up, and you obviously have a desire, it's like something burning in you to do this, and that's the thing that you can't just fake. And when you do, then fake stuff happens
Yeah.
to you. Do you know what I mean? So I can't wait to see 15
Yeah.
years from now. And
I know, right?
See all these people and Diana, where she's at now, or where we're at now, and in 15 years, like what happened?
Yeah.
That's
Hopefully in a good way.
that's a great vision. It's-
Oh God, what happened?
You're not just here. You're like,
Yeah.
and to plan something that far in advance. First of all, I couldn't do it.
And every episode and scenario just gets like 1% better, and so it's interesting. Just the little tiny things, lighting here, audio here.
Mm-hmm. It's a learning process.
Yeah, it's like a painting on its own. That's what I'm experiencing, and the fun part is the artists are basically just working. You guys are just working. Like you're not like wasting time.
Yep.
And you're sharing your story and your value with other artists. So that's fun. And,
absolutely.
and what's really exciting, another idea we've gotten recently is we're making my house in Kendall. We're calling it the Art House, and it's pretty large. There's a lot of space for murals, so we're gonna have a bunch of different murals around the house, and it has a huge yard.
That is so cool.
It's like out in far Kendall, so it has a lot of like yard space, like a long driveway.
Kendall's awesome.
And a lot of plants and trees. So I'm thinking about making my own once a
Mafia
month.
Den.
Well, no. That's the art house. The Mafia art vlog Mafia. It has a disclosed location.
Ah, okay. All right.
Or else it wouldn't be.
It's That's another branch. No, just kidding.
You can just do that.
So once a month, I want to invite 10 artists possibly, and invite them to come to my house and paint all day, like under a tent or inside, like have a station area and bring art to hang up because there's like so much wall space. So I have 10 artists, have a barbecue, have a cake, and then invite.
You sold me a barbecue.
Yeah. and invite different friends or family just to come visit and have food. And then there's like 10 live artists, and you're having a good time. And then we're documenting it all. That's badass.
Not myself.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
No, you can curse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then what have I been
This
doing?
is raw and uncut. No editing will be done. Besides, transitions and stuff. But no, we don't cut anything out.
That is just fucking awesome, man.
So where, for each of you, what's like primarily your place that someone could see your work, or like here, yours would be here at
This
your
is
gallery.
mine, yep.
And then
my apartment. I have a one-bedroom apartment that is slowly being eaten up by paintings.
Okay.
Because I started to go bigger because 2 or 3 people say, you should go bigger, you should go bigger. So if more than 2 people tell you the same thing, you should really pay attention. So I did, and now I got no room. But yeah, my apartment, gosh, I hate to say that. I don't want to put that on public, but you can call me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit, then I have to give my
Do you have
phone number.
Do you have a website?
I do have a
your work
website
somewhere?
that's not been updated, so but I am on Facebook.
Yeah, you're current on Facebook.
HTTPS // Facebook / Maureen Originals Art.
Don't worry, we got you.
And Maureen Downs is my personal page. I post a lot of paintings there because the algorithms of Facebook. It's hard for people to get my posts and everything, so I put on both. But yeah, you can come. I actually had somebody come last weekend to look at my stuff and everything, and I went home with a couple painting. So
Oh,
I will
wonderful.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on, well, I've got my paintings up on Rising Zen, so people can get like prints and stuff like that.
That's from your website.
my
right?
website, yeah,
Okay.
right, Rising Zen, and then I'm on Facebook as Desiree Zen,
This blue.
and Rising Zen also page on Facebook, and then I'm a member of Art Serve, and I go to the Kama Sutra in Fort Lauderdale, and also list a lot, and I just do paintings there. And stuff
What's
there.
that?
It's a kava bar.
It's very cool.
It's very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, they.
You should go.
Yeah.
it's a real cool place. They have kava and they have kratom tea, and I drink the kratom tea and I sit and paint. And I've been going there for a couple of years, and they finally there was a couple 2 weeks ago. They just came to me and they're like, "Hey, we want to sponsor you." And I was like, what? So I, like I mentioned before, I do energy work, and so I teach Qigong classes, which is a little like Tai Chi and meditation, and I play Native American flute and a bunch of other
Oh,
things.
you were playing that earlier.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so I created a Zen day with Desiree, and people come and get free kava or free kratom, depending on what class they come for, and it's second Sundays starting next month. So it's kind of some of the places
So
you
your
see me.
so your sponsor, what did they kind of like? How did they propose it to you? Was it exciting to get like someone to be like, hey, we want you?
Yeah, it was exciting. I had no idea. I was actually at the kava bar, and the bartender there, Michael Reagan, who I talked to a lot. He's like, I've been thinking, I'd really like to create an experience here, with some of the stuff that you do, and specifically the Qigong he's interested in. And so he's like, I want to talk to the manager, and so he's like, I'll put you in touch, and put us in touch. And then I just started brainstorming, like, when you're on your way to sleep and like all the ideas start pouring in your
on your way to sleep.
And I was just like, whoa, what can I turn this into? I was like, I don't know if they're going to buy it, but I'll just go there and I'll talk to them. And so I went there and I talked to them, and I was like, hey, I came up with this idea, like, people could come and we'll meet, because they wanted to give me kava to take to my classes. And I was like, I don't want to lug kava around. I want people to come to this location, because this is where I hang out, and it's like a little vortex there, and I hang out there for hours.
Vortex.
And so, like at a time, and then we walk over to the grass down the way, and we do our class, and then they come back and hang out, and then a little while later, we're going to do another class, and then come back and hang out. And over the course of like 5 or 6 hours, people can come and go and do classes, or they can stay for the whole day. And that's what I usually do. I'm usually there for like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours,
So that's an experience, right? That's an experience.
Yeah.
Someone contacted me about if I could make some type of art experience. They saw me on Instagram, and they're a startup in San Francisco, and they have a pretty solid company. But yeah, the ideas just started to like run, and a fun example is with the podcast. Since I'm making different contacts with artists and things, it would be pretty simple to do a 1-day like Wynwood tour, but behind the scenes with a few galleries that are like closed or something. And
Ooh, that would be cool.
yeah, like, hey, we got this. Look, I got the key, and we go into the back. And then
Secret,
there's
don't
an
tell
artist
anyone.
studio, and
Right?
oh, the artist is here. And he's like, oh, bonjour, whatever. And
It's the real art mafia.
Yeah.
shit
Yeah,
right there.
So
Y'all
that
not messing around.
so that experience would be awesome. And then another one would be to pick them up in their touristy location, the beach or wherever. Take them to the art house.
Put them in the trunk.
Have
It was a weird there time.
You can't know where you're going. You know what? Yes. Yes.
and then they take like an
Shoot
art
off.
class at the art house, like a spray paint or my dad's an artist, so he can teach them a class, and then see the murals. So yeah, those experiences are
Like a
are
field
fun.
trip.
Yeah.
A field trip.
Your dad must be like so psyched
Yeah,
of what you're doing
Yeah,
and everything.
he met an artist today who, it was awesome. He came to the house, we put the tent outside, and he had his easel, and he worked for about an hour outside, and my dad's talking to him. And so my dad's excited because he's going to be able to meet all these different artists who come to the house.
Awesome. No, that's just. He already sounds like a cool dude. What's his name?
Jaime Olaya.
Say the last name again?
Olaya. Olaya. It's like Olaya. So that's my garage door, the tent, and then him painting live.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, so we put, and then
Oh, it's Diana.
yeah, Diana. She uses the paint. We had a good time.
That's awesome.
And then for us, I'll show you us. Yeah, this podcast is going to be fun. People are going to enjoy listening to this.
Good.
Let me see. And then it's this.
There we are.
That is so cool.
Art Squad! Art Squad! Killing it!
We should do our thing.
Yeah.
We even have a little art squad.
You have an art squad?
Killing it!
And so the art squad is in its infancy, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was in January, and all of a sudden the thing just exploded.
That's
This
true.
is explosion. It really is. Jonathan, we've had people come to us. I don't know if it's because they heard us, but we just ideas, and would you guys like to be this? And we're like, well, yeah, we've got a lot of artists that we're working with now, and this is what we're about, and like everybody's getting really excited about it. And we probably have a few too many things.
Yeah, it feels like it. It
Because
feels
I
like
mean,
it.
and
much.
like you today, and there's a couple of the projects that are
And
sort of in the wings, and
And that's the reason why we're to our next meeting. Our next art squad meeting is to talk about when we have a more community meeting with more
Squadlets.
artists. Yeah, squadlets. So, because everybody wants to be involved, and we're just 3 people, So it's like if everybody wants to do some, cool stuff and help support each other through all of the opportunities that keep coming our way, then we get to share with everyone, and everyone gets to, have a stake in the game, and it's creating that community that we want. My 2018 resolution was community and connection. So and I think that's really what we're up to, anyway. So.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
and that's happened organically for the most part too, because we hadn't even thought about bringing other people on board or
Yeah, then they just
Or
started
what-
asking us.
what-
Right? What's the art squad? Can I join? You guys are awesome.
Okay.
We're not even giving away free T-shirts or anything yet. But so the response has just been, Jonathan, it's been tremendous. To the point that now we have squadlets, which are everybody who is sort of involved and wants to be involved in this movement. That's not us already, which is something that we hadn't even thought about. And so now we've got bigger projects. And here's a cool thing, and we've said this for each other, that I think one of the reasons why we work so well is because outside of the fun factor, which you can't really make up, is that
That just happens naturally because we're
well,
awesome.
for 3 artists we're very different kinds of artists and different places in our lives, but I think the really one of the strongest things is there is no ego here.
Mm-mm.
There is no ego between the 3 of us as far as I don't know who gets a headline or who's being highlighted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're working just because we enjoy what we're doing. We think that what we're doing is important.
And we've all showed up.
We show up
consistent.
every single.
We never
time.
let each other down.
But there's a lot of things that we can't do, especially now that more people are getting involved, which is awesome. And this is not about us. You don't need us to do this, but we're sort of a catalyst or something, I think, maybe
Yeah.
for getting the idea out there that it's possible because we're doing it.
Yeah. Education, some of the issue on artists not being valued is because artists don't always know how to have the conversation.
Right.
How to be valued, and that's something we were talking
Or they're
about.
too scared and they'll just take whatever's thrown
Yeah,
at them just
right.
because,
I
like,
remember
oh, it's
calling her
something.
up
Yeah.
saying, I have a lady who says, I can live paint there. And I told her, well, this is how much it is to live paint. She goes, oh, no, but it would be great exposure. We don't pay artists to live paint, but and she even said, I love watching live, artists live paint. I just love it. I said, well,
for it. I love watching
love
bands,
doing it.
but I pay
That's
for
right,
a ticket every time I go see a band.
You gotta pay
So
for that too.
what the hell is the difference?
I wasn't really sure how to approach that in a conversation. So Desiree's really good at that kind of stuff, and I had to have a conversation with Desiree about, how do I
Approach it.
handle this in a nice way, because the last thing I want to do is turn somebody off of my stuff, of her stuff, or anybody's stuff that we're involved with.
Yeah, which can be easy to do because, like you put so much energy and love into your work, and there's negative feedback or you get no's, it's normal. So dealing
that's
with that.
not okay. No's are not normal. No more no's.
No more no's.
No more no's. And here's the thing that we
There's
said.
a way to work stuff out,
Yeah.
It's having that conversation from an open position as to a pre-existing idea of it has to be this way, because for instance, okay, maybe they don't have a budget, right? They can't physically pay dollars, but could they create an art battle where they give a value of a prize that's being given to the artists like we do? Yeah. And our future goal is to be able to actually pay cash money to artists as we get sponsors and, move along. Or, you don't have the live painting aspect, but you let them vend for free. So it's really about having the conversation and coming from an open space as opposed to, no, it has to be this way, You gotta work with them, whatever it is that they've got going on, and be nice. Be nice about it.
Always be nice. Because even if it doesn't work out, at least it was like, wow, that was a really nice person.
Yeah.
That's
And I think the last thing that we want is somebody to feel bad about, the way things have always been run, and we're simply showing them a different way, and still saying no to certain things.
And a lot of
Giving
people still
ourselves-
aren't going to have the budget. They're not going to have a way to
That's
do
right.
anything. That's okay. But at least
But
it's
it's-
like saying
starting
no
the conversation.
to free labor. Like the days of art slavery is over. Like I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I like the way you put that out.
I wonder why it's so. Why is
I don't know, because you would never ask a band to do something and say, oh, but we're not going to pay you, it's going to be free exposure. Or, hey, let this restaurant come and cater this 150-person event. Oh, no, it's going to be great exposure for your business. No, but why is it okay for an artist to have this exposure? It doesn't matter. Either pay me to paint or let me vent for free, so that way at least I get something out of this and I'm not...
free. Is cool. I like to.
Yeah, you won't get,
Sucks when
a
you pay.
performance, but you'll at least get interaction and a cool, art vibe and someone, meet a local artist here. That's still a very great thing. Even if you don't have a budget, we could still vend. We could still bring vendors, so.
Well, and it doesn't really matter what level artist you are, but especially if you're just starting out, you pay a vending fee. Before you even set your stuff up, you've already lost 50, 70 bucks stepping onto the place.
Yeah,
And the other-
and when you sell
long-term
something-
sale.
Yeah.
People gotta see you over and over and over again before they might even buy their first piece from you. So.
And don't forget how much damage happens on our work, hauling it in and out of the car, the wind blowing everything over. When you go there, you're gonna incur at least $50 in just damage alone because of everything that's gonna happen. The dust, the dirt, the rain, the
Sunlight.
wind. Someone kicking it, someone spilling their drink on it, some kid that just starts putting their nasty hand on there. There's nothing you could do about
Somebody
that.
throwing up on it. And
Yeah, and so you have to think well, this isn't we're not just an insurance company handing out free koozies. This is our life on this, on this table here. And you want me to pay you for it to get damaged for 6 hours? You're out of your mind.
Yeah, and let's face it, it's not like it's a product that, it's not like food. People need to eat food. You know, people need art from a perspective emotional aspect, but
It's
not
not. You don't need it to
necessity,
survive.
you know?
Yeah. You
But
don't need it
it's
to
not.
live.
It's not one of those products that people have got. Oh, I'm thirsty. I gotta have a drink. You know.
Right. It's that's
No,
nice.
no,
I would like
thanks.
to have that, but I don't
No,
need it to
thanks,
survive.
man. Where will get me some art? I don't know what's around here. Art. I'm saved. I can go another day. I'm good. I'm all right.
Yeah, no one needs an art fix, but they want an art
That'd be
fix.
a great skit.
Doing it.
And it was something that we were talking about earlier. Why there's worth is a piece like, well, how long did it take you to do this piece? Well, it took me 45 years to do it, you know, because
Yeah.
what you're paying for
Is
is the trials and tribulations, the studying, the learning, the practicing,
the
the
creativity.
getting out there and doing shows and doing the work and everything. And so
jumping ship from your comfortable life that you have income.
yeah, most of us
or
don't
stuff
like
like
being
that.
out here in public and everything. So
Yeah, and when
we're
it's
gonna-
time to pay your car insurance, you don't ask Geico, oh, do you accept exposure as because I have a lot of exposure.
I've got some exposure for you. Not in a weird way.
Nope, does not pay the bills.
All of a sudden, the porn police are at your house, like friend exposure.
Not that
Hey,
kind
they
of
wanted exposure.
Sorry.
They said it was free. All right, so there was some miscommunication there.
That's okay. But yeah, that's the point we're all trying to get across as the art squad.
Yeah, and it's a new message, so it's
Mhm.
not going to be like, you know, it's going to happen overnight, and that's why we want other
Mhm.
artists to be joining.
Yeah, we can't do it alone.
To have the
We need
conversation
everyone.
We don't
to
wanna do it
stop
alone. Just-
painting for free.
Yes, please just stop it already.
Because if you're all still painting for free, then that sort of like kills the mood.
Right, then we look like the assholes that are too good to
We
paint
look
for
like
free.
arrogant asses.
For artists who don't do live painting, is live painting something that like restaurants and places are open to? I know not for necessarily free, but how do you guys set that up? How do you get your live gigs per se?
Yeah, so it just depends on, you know, what's going on with a particular event. So right back to the coffee place that you guys were talking about
Mhm.
earlier, you know, just a lot of places I think are really open to it because they want something that's entertaining. They want something, you know,
Cool.
that's gonna bring
Yeah.
people
Mhm.
there, you know, and so the conversation is navigating from the idea because most of the time they don't have a budget. Occasionally they do. I mean, I got paid to go do live painting at the opening for the Broward Arts Cultural Center. They just
Well, look at the
called me.
W.
Yeah, exactly.
$250 for 3 hours of live
And they
painting,
give you your
and they
canvas.
give you the canvas.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's places that can do it, and they're setting the bar
Yeah.
for all the artists. And now you got hundreds of artists in line to go paint there because they're paying a good amount of money for what they're getting. And
Awesome.
it's at the point
It's
where we
really
where we
awesome.
can kind of offer one of three things. If you have no budget, well, you're going to get a really nice vendor, and they're going to be there to sell their things, to communicate with your audience, and to bring something cool and cultural to whatever it is that you're doing. Two, you could have an art battle where everyone comes together, we all paint, which may be free, for each of us to come and paint, but there's an incentive. There's a reason.
There's
Why
a
are we
value,
battling?
yeah.
Is it
If
a
it's
$100 cash
yeah.
prize? Is it, tickets to whatever
Or
it
a
is?
restaurant, it could be a food
Which is
deal,
what
you
we
know,
want
Right.
ultimately. Like
There's
who
something
would
there
be?
to reward the winner, so it gives
Yeah.
everyone a drive, a reason to come
Yeah.
and battle. The final one is just a paid performance, so it doesn't have to be a battle, it doesn't have to be anything special, but it's just paying somebody like you would pay a band. It's a performance, like just like a drag queen would get out and do an awesome little lip sync on a stage. You're gonna pay that girl to sing. And you should be doing the same for the artist to get up there, because when you're live painting, you don't have time to sell. How do you sell when you're live painting?
It's hard.
You
It's hard.
can't. Like, oh, let me be, dual, painting this
Well, I
and
get
this
into
and
a
this,
zone.
and then
I get into a zone.
The
then I
blinders go
forget.
up, and then you can't even communicate with anyone anymore unless you have your own assistant or someone that's gonna like sell for you.
Right.
You're losing all your money that you would normally get in sales because you're live painting. How are you gonna play guitar and sell your band shirts at the same time? You can't do that shit. It's the same for artists.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and that's
great
what that's
analogy.
all we're trying to get across is, you know, we can bring a lot to a business. We can bring a lot to an event. What's your budget? Do you have one? If not, it's cool, but let's figure it out so that way it's fair for everybody. And I think, you know, I think we're going in the right direction with it. So.
And then also the incredible appealing vision of like murals on businesses
Right.
and colors that's so
You know-
valuable. Like people they just like migrate to it. Like if there's like
exactly.
2 coffee shops,
So pay
and
for your
one is-
mural.
yeah, exactly, because it's gonna help businesses.
How about all you
it's
gotta
a-
do is say, you know, this is the building with the giant elephant on it, painted
Right.
on it. Oh, boom!
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah, easy. But we need someone to do a free
Something
mural. Well,
different,
great
my
exposure. You can sign it. Like, really? You don't think I wasn't gonna sign it?
You give me
Shit.
free beer for a year.
I know, right? That I would agree to.
Yeah.
That I would agree to.
Now,
How many do you need?
And so let's kind of wrap up with a Mass District, where it's come to now from like where it started, and then where you see it going. Also, maybe kind of like time frame. Where was it 5 years ago? Where is it now? Where do you see it in 5 years?
It's when I first stepped foot on the street.
5 years ago?
Yeah,
Mm.
5 years
She
ago.
just had her 5-year anniversary
I
here.
did. Yeah, this was a long time ago.
This is not a safe place to be.
No.
No.
I remember
Very
I used to-
sketchy.
when I was painting apartments for a property management company around the corner. I would drive down this street, in a car, and be approached by
Yeah.
prostitutes of
Yeah,
both
male
sexes.
prostitutes, a lot of them.
Both sexes.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't matter. You could not, I would not want to get out of my car. And now people are walking around
Mhm.
just in the middle of the week.
Incredible,
Because there's now a restaurant and the galleries and the artists.
We can now.
Yeah.
But I remember a time when someone was at this gallery and they wanted to go to Mac Art, which is 3 doors away from here, and they asked me if it was safe to walk from
To
here
Mac
to
Art.
there. Is it safe to walk there? I'm like, I'm assuming it is. I don't see anyone, but no. 5 years ago, me and my business partner at the time, Ed, we moved into this space and we started Art Attack as a door-to-door direct marketing art company. We were selling framed art door-to-door. And it slowly phased into what you see today. But the point being is, once we got in here and we started doing the art walks and everything, between us and Marianne from Mac Fine Art, she was the one that brought up the idea of doing an art walk, you know, I would say 3 or 4 years ago, because we were here a good year before we actually started doing the art walk. And she jumped on the bandwagon that Fat Village was already doing with the last Saturday. And she said, you know what, I'm going to open too. Art Attack's agreed to open up as well. You're all welcome to join me. It was at a Flagler Village meeting. So we did. We started opening up, and you know, our first art walk had 4 people, had 2 people, 3 people. Like for a while, art walks were shit. And we just sit here like, oh, we got like 2 people in tonight, but what else were you going to get? Nothing to lose. So then as we started to come together and the art walk started to blossom and more businesses started to join the street and see what was going on and notice, you know, what was happening here, eventually all of the business owners in the area, which at the time was the photo guys right here from 305 Hot Shots, Joshua Tickton from Decagon, myself and Ed from Art Attack. Marianne couldn't make the meeting, but she was still a part of it. Kevin from ADS, Art Decor Solutions at the very end of the street, and Diego from Art Block, who used to be on the backside. We all got together in that space down over there, 803, and we all had a meeting about what to name the district. And everyone presented their ideas. Everyone had, you know, different ideas, and we went old school. We actually voted, like, write it on a piece of paper and throw it in a hat and, you know, count up the votes. And the idea that won was mine, which was Mass District. I was the one that came up with the acronym.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that.
How did you not know that?
I don't
Murray, where have
know.
you been? Yes, you did. You knew that shit.
Did I know
You knew
that?
that shit. So I had my little presentation together,
You just
and
got
I
so
had
cooler in my
come
head.
up with the acronym for Music and Arts south of Sunrise, and everybody voted, and my choice won. So we all were like, okay, that's what we're calling the district now. So after a lot of hours of contemplating what to call this place, it was the one thing that made sense to me, and I thought it was such a cool name, and I loved it, and it was punchy, and it was cool, and it was original and unique, and it was a really awesome thing. So from there on, we were known as Mass District. We got the design made, and and now commissioners are like, oh, when I come to Mass District, and every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, that's my name. That's the name I came up with, and I'm so proud of it because it's really cool to just say that you really left your mark. So when I'm dead for a long time and it's still called Mass District, I will have left that here. Definitely, but yeah, and then where it's going, great things. I mean, just so long as people see what's going on here and they don't think like, oh, we got to tear all that down and build condos. I think we're past that. I think people are seeing this as a draw now, not like, oh, let's improve. It's already improved. We got people coming in here and renting all these places, and I think it's just going to be some cool key neighborhood in Flagler Village. It's just going to draw people to live here and want to be around this area. So every last Saturday, still going strong. Art walk. Many more to come. Stay tuned.
Right?
Awesome. And do you have a vision you see of it?
Oh, well, I don't know that I really put any sort of vision into it. I just kind of floating along for the ride, When Decagon opened a couple of years ago, I helped them, bring more vendors and people over to that location, and so that's what I'm doing here, with the art battles, the three of us. When I think about vision, it's not necessarily for Mass District, it happens in Mass District, and so we get to have this space that Stephanie so awesomely provided, and we get to do cool stuff, and so the more connections that we continue to make with people that are wanting to do things. Every art walk that people come by, something happens where somebody's wanting to connect to do the next thing. So I don't really know what the next thing is. I just know it's coming. And I'm going to be here for it.
It's a freight train right now. It is. You can't stop it even if you wanted to.
There's a lot of murals potential space, a lot of walls. Have any of you done any walls? Trying to do some walls?
Mine just got painted over.
Yeah.
The one-stop shop. We did ours on Andrew.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Andrews by the bus station.
Yes.
We got a mural there.
For open canvas.
You still have mural remnants on that little building when we went rogue for Flagler Cares Day or whatever it was, or for Olaya Cares. Yeah.
I used to be on this building. It had a big surf wave and palm trees, but that got painted over.
Yeah, they wanted a cohesive mural, so each one had its own little individual mural, and it was all kind of choppy and pasted together. And then one guy came in and just did what's on there now, which is beautiful. But
with spray paint?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was spray paint.
Did you spray paint?
I wasn't here.
Rush. I was dumb.
I was gone.
I'm dumb.
Spray paint's tricky.
Yeah, I would rather use a brush.
Yeah.
I'd always rather use a brush. This makes sense.
I even had a respirator, but it still gets on your skin. The spray paint does. So I'm a little bit,
I used to do it.
For
Yeah.
health reasons?
Hmm?
For
Yeah.
the tox?
Yes.
maybe?
Yep. Not worth it. And I'm familiar with a brush. And do.
And you've been painting commercial for a long time too, so you know how.
Yeah. Although, give me a scaffold and an airbrush and I'll do it. Yeah.
Cool.
Is that free beer for a year at that place? We
No, I think you're not going to tell us just because you know where it is. You're like, you don't want to tell
I
us.
have to make it. I have to make the business.
Well, it looks like you're doing it. You're like the type of guy, it seems that, your ideas are already taking flight and you've got something in your head and you're going to make it happen. So
yeah, we're making it happen. Well, thank you all for being a part of that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
There'll be more to come with the art walk. We actually, our network partnered up with Mass District to have us come and do like drone shots and live videos
Good.
of the art walk.
That thing is really cool,
Mhm.
by
Yeah.
the way.
And we're also gonna work with I have to learn the name. You probably know what it is. The organization of artists of Mass District. Does it have a name? It's a membership.
Yeah, there's
production
there's a
thing?
membership for Mass District, and you can either be like a venue member or you can be an alliance
Mm.
member. So somebody who's like one of these guys that doesn't have like a brick and mortar business here, they can pay the membership and be members for the year. But for myself, I pay the business membership
Okay.
for Art Attack. So Art Attack's a member of Mass District too. So you can find it online at massdistrict.com.
Yeah.
So everything's
And
on there.
we're gonna partner up with that organization, that membership, and do like a set of posts and stuff. So
Mhm.
part of the membership will include like X amount of social media, like just exposure. It's
Right, right.
cool. Because everything that we're doing in Wynwood, we're trying to do. In Wynwood, we're basically documenting artists and murals and going
Mhm.
behind the scenes, businesses, and so with everything growing here, it's nice to get in while it's still happening, like the
And it is,
regionality.
and it is. Everyone's still here. Like we're not, you know.
I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
and the people in everybody, the business owners, the artists in Mass District, they're just so really excited about working with each other and just having this like one of the coolest places to be in Fort Lauderdale. So it can only go up from here. And you're gonna get a treat right now.
Cool. This
Leave
would
it
be
out
that.
there, so-
Yeah, this would be the nice outro. So
Yeah.
Perfect.
thank you for everyone tuning in.
Yes.
We're gonna have a special outro. Go ahead.
Take it away, Desiree.
I freaking love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. And then
Boom.
so each camera
Done.
slowly like died out. That one died out. That one died. But
That's
we
okay.
ended up with both angles at the end.
Oh, good, good.
So it worked out. And I was actually pretty nervous because I didn't know if I'd have enough memory space.
Well, let's hope we got it all.
We got